You just don't turn me on like you used to. Those were the words Mark said to me on our anniversary, in bed, after another failed attempt at intimacy. I was wearing $300 worth of Victoria's Secret lingerie, ironic considering I managed one of their stores. 6 months later, when I found his hidden stash of little blue pills dating back to before we'd even met, I finally understood the truth. It was never about me. Stay with me, and I'll tell you how a man systematically destroyed my confidence to hide his own shame, and how a chance discovery while cleaning saved my sanity. Hello, everyone. My name is Rachel Torres, and I'm 32 years old, living in Miami, Florida. This story ended 6 months ago, but I needed time to process what happened to me, what he did to me. I need to share it because when I was Googling, why doesn't my boyfriend want me anymore at 3 a.m., crying in my bathroom, I needed to read a story like mine. If you're with someone who makes you feel undesirable while hiding their own insecurities behind your supposed inadequacy, maybe my story will help you see what took me 2 years to understand. I met Mark Davidson in September 2021 at my store, Victoria's Secret in Aventura Mall. It was a Tuesday afternoon, usually quiet, and I was doing inventory when this man walked in looking completely lost. He was handsome in that approachable way, 5'10", athletic build without being obsessive about it, brown hair that was slightly messy, green eyes that crinkled when he smiled. He was wearing a decent suit, obviously coming from work, and he looked absolutely mortified to be there. "Can I help you?" I asked, using my professional voice. I need to buy something for someone," he stammered, his face turning red. "Gift for your girlfriend?" I suggested helpfully. No girlfriend. It's for my mom, her birthday." Now, I'd been working at Victoria's Secret for 5 years, managing the store for 2. I knew immediately he was lying. No man buys his mother lingerie. But there was something endearing about how bad he was at lying. "Your mom," I repeated, trying not to smile. "Yeah, she mentioned she likes comfortable things. Comfortable things. From Victoria's Secret." He ran his hand through his hair, messing it up more. "Okay, you got me. It's for my sister. Bridal shower gift. Her friend said to get something from here, but I have no idea what I'm doing, and I'm scared of accidentally buying something weird and..." "Breathe." I laughed. "Let me help you. What size?" "Size? Your sister. What size is she?" "Oh God, I have no idea. She's like normal sized? Medium? Is that a thing?" I spent the next 20 minutes helping him pick out a tasteful robe and pajama set, gift wrapped with a ribbon. He was funny, self-deprecating, and genuinely grateful for the help. "You saved my life," he said at the register. "I'm Mark, by the way." "Rachel, and you're welcome." "Rachel, would it be incredibly inappropriate to ask if you'd like to get coffee sometime? As a thank you, or a date? Preferably a date, but I'll take the thank you coffee if that's all that's on offer." I normally didn't date customers, but something about his nervous honesty was refreshing after years of cocky Miami guys. "One condition," I said. "You have to tell me who the gift was really for." He grinned sheepishly. "My assistant. She's been with me 5 years, and I forgot her birthday last month. This is an apology gift." "Not your sister?" "I don't have a sister." "At least you came clean." "Coffee sounds nice." Our first date was 3 days later at a Cuban cafe in Coral Gables. Mark was an associate at a real estate firm. Not the flashy Miami Beach luxury stuff, but regular homes for regular people. He was originally from Ohio, had been in Miami for 4 years, and was refreshingly normal compared to the usual Miami dating scene. "So, Victoria's Secret," he said over cortaditos. "That must be, interesting." "You'd be surprised how normal it becomes. It's just retail, except everything is pink and lacy." "Do you get a lot of weird customers?" "You mean like men buying lingerie for their mothers?" He laughed, genuinely laughed, and I was charmed. We talked for 3 hours about his work, stressful but rewarding, my work, surprisingly complex, people don't realize how much goes into managing a store, our families, his in Ohio, mine scattered between Miami and Puerto Rico, our lives in Miami. He lived in Kendall, I was in Coral Gables.
I have to confess something, he said as we were leaving. I didn't forget my assistant's birthday. I saw you through the window last week when I was walking by. I've been trying to work up the courage to come in ever since. So, you lied about lying? I panicked. You're intimidating. You manage a Victoria's Secret. You're gorgeous. You probably date like musicians or athletes or something. I haven't dated anyone in a year, I admitted. The last guy I went out with spent the entire dinner taking selfies and talking about his CrossFit times. Well, I don't do CrossFit and I hate selfies, so I'm already ahead. We kissed outside my car. It was perfect. Soft, respectful, with just enough heat to promise more. The first few months were everything you want in a new relationship. Mark was attentive without being clingy, romantic without being cheesy, passionate without being pushy. He brought me flowers every Friday. End of work week celebration, he'd say. He remembered little things I mentioned. My favorite wine, that I loved true crime podcasts, that I was trying to learn Portuguese. The physical side was incredible. I don't want to be too graphic, but it's important for the story. Mark was enthusiastic, creative, and seemingly insatiable. We were that annoying new couple who couldn't keep our hands off each other. He made me feel desired, beautiful, irresistible. You're incredible, he'd whisper against my skin. I can't get enough of you. He'd initiate constantly. Morning, night, middle of the day on weekends. He'd text me during work. Can't stop thinking about last night, or can't wait to see you later, with just enough suggestion to make me blush. My friends were jealous. My best friend Carmen said, "You found one of the good ones. Successful, handsome, and actually wants to have sex? Marry him now." By month 3, we were officially boyfriend and girlfriend. By month 4, we were saying I love you. By month 5, I had a drawer at his place. By month 6, we were talking about moving in together. I want to wake up next to you every day, he said one morning, tracing patterns on my back. Is that crazy? No, I said, feeling happier than I had ever been. It's perfect. We found a 2-bedroom apartment in Coconut Grove. Expensive, but with both our salaries, manageable. The second bedroom would be an office for him, a dressing room for me. You must have so many clothes from work, he'd said, which was true. Moving day was May 2022, 8 months after we'd met. I remember standing in our new living room, surrounded by boxes, Mark's arms around me from behind, thinking this was it. This was my happily ever after. We're home, he whispered in my ear. Home, I agreed. That night, in our new bedroom, on our new bed, surrounded by boxes we were too eager to unpack, we celebrated properly. Multiple times. I love you so much, he said afterwards, holding me close. You're perfect. I believed him. Why wouldn't I? Everything was perfect. The first time it happened was 3 weeks after we moved in, June 2022. I'd had a long day at work. Inventory, a difficult customer who had tried to return clearly worn underwear, and a new employee who'd messed up the register. I came home to find Mark already there, laptop open on the coffee table, surrounded by papers. Hey babe, I said, kissing his cheek. Rough day? Yeah. Deal fell through. Seller's got cold feet. I'm sorry. Want me to make dinner? Sure. I made his favorite, shrimp tacos with mango salsa. We ate mostly in silence, both tired. When we went to bed, I cuddled up to him, running my hand down his chest. Not tonight, babe, he said, catching my hand. I'm exhausted. Okay, I said, trying not to feel rejected. Everyone has off nights. But it happened again 3 nights later, then a week after that. By July, a month into living together, our sex life had noticeably cooled. From every day to maybe twice a week. When I initiated, Mark often had excuses. Too tired from work, ate too much at dinner, have an early meeting tomorrow, my back hurts from the gym. I tried not to take it personally. We were adjusting to living together. Work was stressful for both of us. It was normal for things to calm down after the honeymoon phase. But then the comments started.
"Are those new pajamas?" he asked one night as I came to bed in shorts and a tank top. "No, I've had these forever." "Oh, they're just very practical." "What's that supposed to mean?" "Nothing, just you used to wear different things to bed." "You mean lingerie?" "Mark, I manage a lingerie store. I can't wear it 24/7. I know. Forget I said anything. But I couldn't forget. The next night, I wore a silk nightgown from the store. Mark barely looked up from his phone. August brought new criticisms, subtle at first. "Have you been stress eating? I noticed we're going through ice cream pretty fast. Are you going to the gym? You mentioned wanting to start. That dress used to fit differently." I stood in front of the mirror, examining myself. I looked the same to me. Size 8, 5'6", athletic build from years of dancing in high school and college. But Mark's comments made me start seeing flaws. Was my stomach less flat? Were my thighs bigger? "You're overthinking," Carmen said when I mentioned it at lunch. "You look exactly the same." But what if I'm not? What if I'm letting myself go? "Rachel, you manage a lingerie store. You're literally surrounded by reminders to look good. You haven't let yourself go." But Mark's declining interest suggested otherwise. By September, our 1-year anniversary, we were down to maybe once a week, and only when I really pushed for it. Even then, it felt mechanical, rushed, like he was checking off a chore. Our anniversary dinner was at an expensive restaurant on the beach. I wore a new dress, red, his favorite color, showing just enough cleavage to be sexy without being inappropriate. I'd gotten my hair done, my nails done, spent an hour on makeup. "You look nice," he said when he picked me up. Nice. Not beautiful, not stunning, not sexy. Nice. At dinner, he was distracted, checking his phone constantly. "Work?" I asked. "Yeah, sorry, big listing tomorrow." When we got home, I went to the bathroom and changed into the lingerie I'd bought specifically for tonight. Black lace, extremely expensive even with my employee discount, the kind of thing that would make any man's jaw drop. I walked into the bedroom to find Mark already in bed, scrolling through his phone. "Come here," I said, trying for sultry. He looked up, and for a moment, I saw panic in his eyes. Actual panic. "Babe, I'm really tired. Big day tomorrow." "It's our anniversary." "I know, and dinner was great. Can we just cuddle?" I stood there in $300 worth of lingerie, feeling like an idiot. "Sure, let me just change." I went back to the bathroom and cried as quietly as I could while putting on my practical pajamas. When I came back to bed, Mark was already asleep, or pretending to be. October 2022 marked the beginning of what I now recognize as systematic emotional manipulation. But at the time, I just thought I was the problem. It started with a work event. Mark's firm was having a cocktail party, and significant others were invited. I wore a black cocktail dress, classy, professional, appropriate. "You look good," Mark said, then paused. "But maybe throw on a cardigan? It's a work thing." "Is the dress too revealing?" "No, it's fine. You know how Miami women can be, very done up. I don't want you to feel underdressed." I was confused, but added a cardigan. When we got to the event, every other woman was in similar cocktail dresses, no cardigans. I took mine off immediately, but the seed of doubt was planted. "Your girlfriend is beautiful," one of Mark's colleagues said to him. "How'd you land her?" "Just lucky, I guess," Mark replied, but later in the car he said, "Tom was being nice. He's always been a flirt. He wasn't flirting. He was complimenting you on your girlfriend.
Mark says you two are adjusting to living together. That can be hard. You know, when Mark's father and I went through a rough patch, I found that taking care of myself really helped. Have you considered a spa day? I realized Mark had been talking to his mother about our problems, our sex problems. Did you tell your mom we're having issues? I confronted him that night. I mentioned we were adjusting. She's been married 35 years. I thought she might have advice. About our sex life? I didn't give details. What did she say? That sometimes women let themselves go when they get comfortable. Let myself go? Mark, I've lost weight. I dress up every day. I wear lingerie to bed. And it's all very nice, but maybe the spark just isn't there anymore. The spark isn't there, or you can't get it up? The words came out before I could stop them. Mark's face went red. How dare you? Mark, I'm not trying to be mean, but maybe you should see a doctor. It's normal for men to have issues. I don't have issues. Jesus, Rachel, not everything is about sex. It is when we never have it. Maybe I'd want it more if you weren't so focused on it. You're like obsessed. It's off-putting. I started therapy in December. I needed someone objective to tell me if I was crazy. He's deflecting, Dr. Williams said after I explained the situation. Instead of addressing the issue, he's making you feel like you're the problem. But what if I am the problem? Let me ask you this. Have you changed significantly since you met? I've lost weight. I dress better. Those are changes you made because of his criticism, but fundamentally, are you the same person? Yes. Then why would he suddenly lose attraction? I didn't have an answer. Christmas was awful. I bought expensive lingerie from Agent Provocateur, not even from my store, because I wanted something special. Christmas Eve, I modeled it for him. That must have been expensive, was his response. Do you like it? It's nice, but you didn't have to spend so much money. I wanted to look sexy for you. Rachel, he sighed like I was a child who didn't understand something simple. Sexy isn't about expensive lingerie. It's about confidence. And lately, you just seem desperate. I went to the bathroom and cried. When I came back, Mark was asleep. January 2023. New year, new me, I decided. I was going to fix this. I joined a gym, I started a skincare routine, I got highlights, I bought an entirely new wardrobe. I was going to become so irresistible that Mark would have no choice but to want me again. You look like an Instagram model, Carmen said when she saw me. What's going on? Just taking care of myself. Rachel, you're starting to look, I don't know, not like yourself. But I was determined. Valentine's Day was coming. I was going to make it perfect. February 14th, 2023. I took the day off work. I got a Brazilian wax, manicure, pedicure, facial. I bought groceries for Mark's favorite meal. I bought expensive wine. I scattered rose petals on the bed like some cliché movie. I was in the kitchen cooking when Mark came home. Smells good, he said, kissing my cheek. What's the occasion? It's Valentine's Day. Oh, shit, is it? Babe, I'm sorry, I totally forgot. My heart sank. But I rallied. It's okay, just sit, dinner's almost ready. We ate. He complimented the food. We drank wine. When we moved to the couch, I tried to initiate. Let's go to the bedroom, I whispered. Rachel, please, it's Valentine's Day. He looked trapped. Okay, give me a minute. He went to the bathroom. I heard the water running for a long time. When he came out, he seemed resolved, like someone about to do something unpleasant but necessary. What followed was the worst sexual experience of my life. Mechanical, brief, with Mark barely looking at me. When it was over,
quickly. He immediately got up to shower. I lay there in the rose petals feeling like a prostitute he'd reluctantly hired. When he came back, I was crying. "What's wrong?" he asked, sounding annoyed. "That was horrible. I thought you wanted sex. I wanted you to want me. I can't manufacture desire, Rachel." "Then why are you with me?" "Because I love you. But you're not attracted to me. Attraction is more than just physical." "What does that even mean?" "It means maybe we need to work on our emotional connection." "By having sex?" "Sex isn't everything. It is when we never have it." We went in circles. By the end, somehow, I was apologizing again. For pushing, for crying, for ruining Valentine's Day. March 8th, 2023. The day that changed everything. Mark was at a conference in Orlando. I decided to deep clean the apartment. Nervous energy from another rejected advance the night before. I was cleaning the bathroom, organizing under the sink, when I knocked over a box of Q-tips. They spilled everywhere, some rolling behind the toilet. I got on my hands and knees to collect them. That's when I saw it. A small blue pill wedged between the toilet and the wall. I knew immediately what it was. Viagra. My first thought was relief. He did have a medical issue. This explained everything. But then the questions started. Why hadn't he told me? How long had he been taking it? Why make me feel like the problem if he knew he needed medication? I searched the bathroom. Under the sink, behind his shaving kit, I found another bottle with more blue pills. No prescription label. I went to his office. Under his desk drawer, under some papers, another bottle. This one had a prescription label. The date made my blood run cold. September 2021. The month we met. He'd been taking Viagra since before we met. I searched more frantically now. In his car glove compartment, another bottle. In his gym bag, a small pill case with 4 pills. In his jacket pockets, loose pills in a mint tin. I found receipts in his email. He'd been ordering from multiple pharmacies, sometimes online pharmacies in Canada. The total, over 2 years, nearly $3,000. But the worst discovery was his browser history. He'd forgotten to use incognito mode a few times. How to hide Viagra use from girlfriend. Make partner think erectile dysfunction is their fault. Psychological manipulation, sexual performance. Gaslight girlfriend about sex. He literally Googled how to gaslight me.
There was more. Forum posts asking for advice on hiding ED from partners. A Reddit thread where he'd posted, username MiamiMark34, real creative, about his frigid girlfriend who doesn't turn him on anymore. Bookmarked articles about maintaining frame and dread game. Pickup artist terminology for manipulation tactics. I sat on his office floor surrounded by evidence and felt my entire worldview shift. Every criticism, every rejection, every comment about my appearance, it had all been calculated. He'd rather destroy my self-esteem than admit he needed help. Then I found the folder on his computer labeled insurance. Inside were photos of me, sleeping, getting dressed, in the shower. When did he take that? Unflattering angles when I was bloated or had just woken up. Each photo had a date. He'd been documenting me for months. There was a Word document. Reasons. It was a list. Gained weight, approximately 10 to 12 pounds. Less effort in appearance. Pressures me for sex. Doesn't understand stress.
let herself go, not as attractive as when we met. This wasn't even true. I'd lost weight, not gained it. But he'd been building a case against me. My phone rang. Mark. Hey, babe. Conference is going well. How's your day? Fine, I managed. You sound weird. Just tired. Listen, I might stay an extra night. Networking opportunity. Okay. You sure you're okay? I'm fine. Love you. Love you too. I hung up and threw up. I had 2 days before Mark returned. 2 days to decide what to do. I called in sick to work and did research. I learned about narcissistic personality disorder, about sexual gaslighting, about men who would rather emotionally destroy their partners than admit weakness. I found support groups online. The stories were eerily similar. Partner with hidden ED, blaming the woman's appearance, creating impossible standards, withholding affection as punishment, making the woman feel crazy for wanting normal intimacy. I wasn't alone. I wasn't crazy. I called Carmen, told her everything. I'm coming over, she said immediately. No, I need to process this. Rachel, this is abuse. He's been abusing you. The word hit hard. Abuse. I'd thought abuse meant hitting, screaming, obvious cruelty, not this slow, calculated destruction of my self-worth. What do I do? You leave. You pack your shit and leave. Where would I go? My place. My couch is yours as long as you need it. But I wasn't ready to leave. I needed to confront him. I needed to hear him admit it. Mark came home Sunday night, all smiles and gifts from the conference. Missed you, he said, kissing my cheek. Got you something. It was lingerie. From Victoria's Secret, a competitor store in Orlando. You bought me lingerie from another Victoria's Secret? They had different stuff than your store. Mark, I get a 40% employee discount.
Oh, right. Well, it's the thought that counts. I looked at the lingerie. Size small. I wore medium. This is size small. Yeah, for motivation. You've been working so hard at the gym. I set the bag down. Mark, we need to talk. Sounds serious. I found your Viagra. His face went through several expressions. Shock, fear, anger, finally settling on confusion. What Viagra? The pills hidden all over the apartment. The prescriptions dating back to before we met. The $3,000 in receipts. You went through my things? Don't try to make this about me snooping. You've been taking Viagra since before we met and letting me think I'm the problem. I don't know what you think you found. I pulled up the pills, the receipts, screenshots of his browser history. You literally Googled how to gaslight girlfriend about sex. He was quiet for a long moment. Then, it's not what you think. Then explain it. The Viagra is precautionary. Precautionary? I got nervous when we first met. You're beautiful, successful. I felt pressure to perform, so I got some, just in case. And you've been taking it for 2 years as a precaution? I developed a dependence. It happens. I was embarrassed. So you made me feel like shit instead? I never meant... You have a list of reasons why I'm not attractive anymore. You have photos of me sleeping. Those were for me, to motivate myself. To motivate yourself to what? Get it up for your disgusting girlfriend? You're twisting this. I'm twisting this. Mark, you made me believe I was undesirable. I lost weight I didn't need to lose. I spent thousands on clothes and treatments. I cried myself to sleep thinking I was hideous.
You're being dramatic. Dramatic? You want to see dramatic? I pulled up his Reddit posts on my phone, reading them aloud. My girlfriend used to be hot but let herself go. I can't get hard for her anymore but don't want to hurt her feelings. Should I just end it? Those were hypothetical. Posted 2 months ago when I was killing myself trying to be perfect for you. Mark's demeanor changed. The confused act dropped. Fine. You want the truth? Yes, I take Viagra. Yes, I've always taken it. I have erectile dysfunction. Okay? Happy? Is that what you wanted to hear? What I wanted to hear 2 years ago was honesty. Oh, please. Like you would have stayed with a guy who couldn't get it up naturally. I would have stayed with a guy who was honest with me. Bullshit. Women say they want honesty, but they want the fantasy. They want the guy who's always ready, always hard, always wanting them. The second I admitted weakness, you would have lost respect for me. So instead, you destroyed my self-esteem? I tried to motivate you. Motivate me to what? To be better. To be the woman I fell for. I'm the same woman.
Get out of this apartment. Pack your things and get out. This is my apartment too. I'll buy you out of the lease. Just go. You're seriously ending this over some pills? I'm ending this over 2 years of psychological abuse. Abuse? I never laid a hand on you. You didn't have to. You destroyed me from the inside out. Mark packed a bag, still trying to manipulate. You'll regret this. The only thing I regret is not finding those pills sooner. No one else will want you. You mean no one else will need 3 Viagra to tolerate me? You're making a mistake. The mistake was believing you when you said I was the problem. He left that night, moved back to his mother's house in Kendall. The next morning, I called in sick to work and went to see Dr. Williams for an emergency session. He's been taking Viagra the entire relationship and blaming me for his ED? It's more than that, Rachel. He's been systematically destroying your self-worth to protect his ego. This is psychological abuse. But I feel guilty. Maybe I should have been more understanding about his medical condition. Stop. His medical condition isn't the issue. His choice to hide it and blame you is the issue. His choice to document your supposed flaws is the issue. His choice to research how to manipulate you is the issue. She was right. But 2 years of conditioning doesn't disappear overnight. I went to work the next day because I needed normalcy. My assistant manager, Sophia, took one look at me and pulled me into the back office. What happened? You look like you haven't slept. I told her everything. By the end, she was furious. That pendejo. You manage a Victoria's Secret. You're literally surrounded by the sexiest stuff in the world every day, and he made you feel unsexy? I know it doesn't make sense. It makes perfect sense. He's insecure about his dick not working, so he broke you down. Classic machista bullshit. Word spread among my employees. Not the details, but that Mark and I had split, and he'd been cruel. These women, ages 19 to 45, rallied around me like an army in pink. "You're beautiful, boss," said Katie, our youngest employee. "He didn't deserve you," added Maria, who'd been with the store longer than me. "Any man who makes a woman feel bad about herself is trash," concluded Diana, our newest hire. Their support meant everything, but I still went home to an apartment full of Mark's things and memories of feeling unwanted. Mark's mother called that evening. "Rachel, sweetheart, Mark told me you two had a fight." "Mrs. Davidson, he mentioned you found his medication. You know, many men have that issue. It's nothing to end a relationship over." He lied to me for 2 years. He was embarrassed. You have to understand, men have fragile egos about these things. So fragile, he made me
think I was repulsive? I'm sure he didn't mean... He kept a list of my flaws. He had photos of me sleeping. He Googled how to gaslight me. Silence. Mrs. Davidson? I didn't know that part.
There's a lot Mark didn't tell you. Perhaps you two should try counseling. No, I'm done. He can get his things this weekend while I'm at work. She sighed. I'm sorry, Rachel. I really am. I thought you were good for him. I was. He wasn't good for me. Carmen came over that night with wine and Cuban food from my favorite restaurant. You need to eat, she said, unpacking containers. Real food, not that diet shit you've been living on. I'm not hungry. Eat anyway. That's what we do. We eat, we drink, we trash talk the pendejo. Carmen, eat. I ate. The food tasted like cardboard, but I ate. Now, she said, pouring wine, tell me everything you couldn't say on the phone. I showed her everything. The pills, the receipts, the browser history, the photos, the list. Madre de Dios, she whispered. This is sick. This is actually sick. The worst part is, I still feel like it's my fault. Like if I'd just been sexier. Stop. Right now. You work at Victoria's fucking Secret. You're surrounded by lingerie all day. You literally sell sexy for a living. If you're not sexy enough, no one is. But no buts. He's sick, Rachel. His dick doesn't work, and instead of dealing with it like an adult, he tortured you. When you put it like that, how else would I put it? That's exactly what happened. My phone buzzed. Mark, can we talk? I think you overreacted. I showed Carmen. Oh, hell no. Give me your phone. Carmen. She grabbed it and typed, the only thing I overreacted to was spending 2 years with someone who needed 3 Viagra to tolerate me. Your dick is as broken as your personality. Don't contact me again. Carmen! What? It's true. She hit send before I could stop her. Mark's response was immediate. Real mature. You'll regret this when you're alone and no one wants you. Carmen typed back, I'd rather be alone than with someone who makes me feel alone. Also, your mom knows everything now. Have fun explaining that. You told his mom? No, you did, but he doesn't know how much you told her. Mark started calling. Carmen declined and blocked his number. There, done. I can't believe you did that. You were going to be nice. He doesn't deserve nice. She was right. I'd been programmed to be nice, understanding, accommodating. Even now, after everything, part of me wanted to comfort him about his medical condition. I need therapy, I said. Yes, you do, but first you need to remember who you are. Who am I? You're Rachel fucking Torres. You manage a multi-million-dollar store. You speak 3 languages. You can salsa dance like a professional. You graduated summa cum laude with a business degree. You're beautiful, successful, and any man would be lucky to have you. Then why? Because you met a broken man who broke you to feel better about himself. That's on him, not you. I'm the lucky one, he said with such genuine warmth that it made me tear up. Sorry, I said, wiping my eyes. Recent breakup. Emotions are weird. No need to apologize. His loss. How do you know it was his loss? Because you're crying at a stranger's happiness. That shows empathy. Anyone who loses someone with that much empathy is an idiot. After he left, I stood there thinking about how a complete stranger had shown me more kindness than Mark had in months. A month and a half post-breakup, I decided to try online dating. Not seriously, just to see if I could even attract someone. My self-esteem was still in recovery. I matched with a few guys, had some conversations. One asked me out for coffee. His name was David. He was a teacher. Seemed nice enough. The date was fine. David was pleasant, polite, complimentary. But when he leaned in to kiss me goodbye, I panicked. "I'm sorry," I said, pulling back. "I'm not ready." "No worries," he said easily. "You seem like you're working through something. If you ever want to try again when you're ready, let me know." His understanding made me cry in my car. Mark would have made me feel guilty for rejecting him. David just accepted it. I wasn't ready to date. I needed to heal first. 2 months after the breakup, I got an Instagram message from someone named Jessica Palmer. "Hi, you don't know me, but I dated Mark Davidson for a year in 2020. I heard you two broke up. Can we talk?" I was curious enough to respond. We met for coffee in Brickell. Jessica was beautiful. Tall, blonde, the kind of woman you'd expect to see in magazines. She was also nervously twisting her rings and looking haunted. "I wanted to warn you," she started, "about Mark, but I was too late." "Warn me about what?" "He did it to you too, didn't he? Made you feel undesirable? Made you think you were the problem?" My coffee cup rattled as I set it down. "How did you know?" "Because he did it to me. The whole time we dated. The rejection, the criticism, the 'you've let yourself go' comments. I developed an eating disorder trying to be thin enough for him." "Did you know about the Viagra?" Her eyes widened. "He uses Viagra?" "Since before we met. Since before you too, probably." Oh my God, that explains everything. I thought I was so repulsive he couldn't. God, I spent so much money on therapy. Did he hide it from you too? Completely. Made me think I'd gained weight, wasn't trying hard enough, wasn't sexy anymore. I was modeling at the time, literally being paid for being attractive, and he had me convinced I was hideous. We talked for 2 hours. Our stories were frighteningly similar. The initial passion, the gradual rejection, the criticism, the gaslighting, the destruction of self-worth. "I found out he's dating someone new," she said finally. "Already?" "Yeah, some girl named Ashley. She's 25, just moved to Miami." "Should we warn her?" She shrugged. "Would you have believed a stranger telling you your perfect boyfriend was going to destroy you?" She was right. I wouldn't have believed it. "There's one more thing," Jessica said. "I did some digging after we broke up. Mark's dad has the same issue. His mom let it slip once. His dad has been using Viagra since his 40s. Made his mom feel like it was her fault for years." "So it's learned behavior?" "Apparently. Apple doesn't fall far from the toxic tree." That night, I looked up Ashley on Instagram. She was young, pretty, posting photos with Mark already. He had his arm around her, that same confident smile I'd fallen for.
In one photo caption, she'd written, "Found my Prince Charming." I wanted to message her, but Jessica was right. She wouldn't believe me. She'd have to learn the hard way, like we had. 3 months post-breakup, I was finally feeling like myself again. I'd gained back some healthy weight, my natural hair had grown out, I was wearing clothes I actually liked. I even went salsa dancing with Carmen one night, something I hadn't done in 2 years because Mark said it was too sexual. "You look happy," Dr. Williams observed during therapy. "I'm getting there." "What's changed?" I stopped trying to be what he wanted and remembered who I am. "And who are you?" "I'm someone who deserves honesty, someone who deserves desire that doesn't require pharmaceutical assistance, someone who deserves a partner who deals with their issues instead of making them mine."
Yes, you are. That weekend, I was at Whole Foods when I ran into Mark's mother. "Rachel," she said, looking uncomfortable. "Mrs. Davidson, how are you?" "Better, much better." "Good, that's good." She paused. "I owe you an apology." "For what?" "For raising a son who would treat you that way. I knew about his issue. His father has the same problem. I should have taught him to handle it better. It's not your fault." "Isn't it, though? I stayed with a man who blamed me for his erectile dysfunction for 35 years. I modeled that it was acceptable." The admission was shocking. "Mrs. Davidson, he's doing it to the new girl, too, Ashley. Already criticizing her appearance, making her feel inadequate. I tried to talk to him, but he won't listen." "I'm sorry." "Don't be sorry for him. Be sorry for her. And for me. But not for him. He made his choices." She walked away, leaving me standing in the produce section, processing the generational trauma of the Davidson men. 6 months after the breakup, I was genuinely happy. Not pretending, not forcing it, but actually happy. I had redecorated the apartment, removing all traces of Mark. I'd been promoted to regional manager, overseeing 3 stores. I'd started taking Portuguese classes again. I'd reconnected with friends I'd neglected during my relationship. "You look good," Carmen said over dinner. "Like, really good. Like yourself again." "I feel like myself again." "Good, because I have someone I want you to meet." "Carmen, no." "Hear me out. He's my cousin's friend, divorced, has his shit together, knows how to treat a woman. I don't know if I'm ready. It's just dinner. No pressure." His name was Luis. He was 35, owned a small construction company, had a daughter from his previous marriage. We met for dinner at a casual Cuban place in Coral Gables. "You said you've been through some stuff," he said after we'd ordered. "Me too. Divorced finalized last year. Ex-wife cheated with her CrossFit trainer." "I'm sorry." "Don't be. Best thing that could have happened. Made me realize I deserved better." "How long were you married?" 7 years. Together for 9. "You?" 2 years with someone who had issues he wouldn't deal with.
Ah, one of those. My brother's like that. Can't admit weakness, so he makes everyone else miserable. Exactly that. We talked for 3 hours. Luis was refreshingly honest about his divorce, his struggles with co-parenting, his business challenges, even his receding hairline. "I used to be insecure about it," he said, rubbing his head. "Then I realized, if someone's going to reject me for losing hair, they're not worth my time." That's a healthy attitude. Took therapy to get there. Best money I ever spent. A man who admitted to therapy, who acknowledged his insecurities without making them someone else's problem. It was like meeting an alien after 2 years with Mark. When the check came, he insisted on paying. "I asked you out. I pay. You can get the next one if you want there to be a next one." I'd like that. He walked me to my car, kept a respectful distance. "Can I kiss you goodnight?" he asked. Yes. The kiss was gentle, warm, uncomplicated. When we broke apart, he smiled. "That was nice," he said simply. It was. No games, no manipulation, just nice. We started seeing each other regularly. Luis was everything Mark wasn't. Honest about his feelings, straightforward about his needs, respectful of my boundaries. He never made me feel like I had to perform or earn his affection. "You're different," he said one night about a month into dating. "Different how?" "Careful, like you're waiting for the other shoe to drop." I told him about Mark. Not everything, but enough. "He made you feel like you weren't enough," Luis said. It wasn't a question. "Yeah. You know that's bullshit, right? You're incredible. Any man would be lucky to have you." "Even with all my baggage?" "We all have baggage. The question is whether someone wants to help you carry it or use it against you." That's when I knew I was ready to really try again. 8 months after leaving Mark, I got a call at work from a number I didn't recognize. "Rachel? This is Ashley. Ashley Martinez. I think we need to talk." Mark's new girlfriend. My stomach dropped. "Okay." "I found some things about Mark, about you, about other women." We met that same day. Ashley looked exactly like I had 8 months ago. Thin, hollow-eyed, trying too hard. She was clutching a folder like a lifeline. "He's been doing it to you too?" I said before she could speak. She nodded, tears starting. "Making me feel like I'm not enough. Like I'm repulsive. Like it's my fault he doesn't want me." "How did you find out?" "I found his computer open. Same browser history you probably saw. Same forum posts. He's bought photos of me, too. Sleeping in unflattering angles. A new list." She showed me the list. It was heartbreakingly familiar. Gained weight since we started dating. Too needy for sex. Doesn't maintain appearance like she used to. Starting to let herself go. "But Ashley, you look exactly like you did in those early Instagram photos with him." "I know! I haven't changed at all, but he kept saying I had, and I started believing it." "Did you find the pills?"
That's the worst part. I found them, confronted him, and he said he only started needing them because I'm not attractive enough anymore. That when we first met, I was so sexy he didn't need help. But now he needs 3 pills to tolerate you? Her eyes widened. How did you know? Because he told me the exact same lie. I told Ashley everything. About Jessica, about his father, about the pattern of abuse that went back generations. "He's sick," she whispered. "Yes, but that's not your fault or your problem to fix. I don't know how to leave. I moved here for him. I don't have friends, family. He made sure of that. You have me now, and Jessica. We'll help you." And we did. Ashley stayed on Carmen's couch for 2 weeks while she found her own place. Jessica, Ashley, and I formed an unlikely support group, the survivors of Mark Davidson. "We should warn the next one," Ashley said one night over wine. "There will always be a next one. Mark will keep doing this until he deals with his own issues." "Which will be never," I added. We were right. Within a month of Ashley leaving, Mark had a new girlfriend, a 23-year-old recent college graduate named Brittany. The cycle continued. But we were done trying to save his victims. We'd learned that you can't save someone who doesn't want to be saved, and you can't fix someone who doesn't think they're broken. It's been 2 years since I found those pills. I'm writing this story on a Sunday morning in my new apartment, a bright, airy place in Brickell with floor-to-ceiling windows and not a single memory of Mark Davidson. Luis is in the kitchen making us breakfast, singing along to salsa music. We moved in together 6 months ago, and it's everything living with a partner should be. Easy, comfortable,
honest. He knows about Mark, all of it, and he's never once made me feel broken or damaged because of it. When I have moments of insecurity, because recovery isn't linear, he reassures me without making it about him. "You're allowed to have bad days," he told me once when I was spiraling about my appearance, "but I need you to know that you're beautiful to me every single day. And not because I take pills or need motivation, just because you're you." That's what healthy love looks like. I'm still the regional manager for Victoria's Secret, now overseeing 5 stores. I've mentored dozens of young women, and I always make sure they know their worth isn't determined by how much anyone else desires them. Last month, one of my employees, Sarah, came to me crying because her boyfriend had started criticizing her appearance. "He says I've let myself go since we moved in together," she sobbed. "Sarah, you look exactly the same as when you started working here. Has he changed anything about himself?" "Well, he stopped going to the gym as much, and he doesn't dress up when we go out anymore." "But he expects you to maintain the same standards you had when you were trying to impress him?" Yeah. That's not how healthy relationships work. In a good relationship, you both get more comfortable, not less. You both try to be your best selves because you want to, not because someone demands it. She left Mark. Yes, she was dating a different Mark, but men like this aren't unique. They're everywhere, hiding their insecurities behind their partner's supposed failures. I still see Mark occasionally. Miami's big, but not that big. He's usually with whatever woman he's currently destroying, and they all have the same look, trying too hard, slightly desperate, hollow-eyed. The last time I saw him was at a restaurant in Coconut Grove. I was with Luis, laughing at something he had said, when I felt eyes on me. Mark was 3 tables away with a brunette who looked barely legal. Our eyes met for a moment. I felt nothing. No anger, no hurt, no satisfaction. Just nothing. He was a stranger who once hurt me badly, but who had no power over me anymore. Luis noticed my attention drift. "Someone you know?" "Someone I used to know."
You okay? Perfect. And I was. I am. I want to end this story with what I wish someone had told me 2 years ago. What I would tell any woman who recognizes herself in my story. You are not too much. You are not enough. You are not responsible for managing someone else's ego or medical condition. You deserve honesty, respect, and desire that doesn't require pharmaceutical enhancement. If someone makes you feel like you have to earn their affection, they don't deserve your love. If someone criticizes your appearance while hiding their own insecurities, they're not your partner. They're your predator. Trust your instincts. If something feels wrong, it probably is. If you find yourself changing everything about yourself to please someone else, you're with the wrong person. You deserve love that makes you feel more like yourself, not less. You deserve someone who sees you as the answer, not the problem. And if you're reading this while sitting in your bathroom at 3 a.m., crying and Googling, "Why doesn't my boyfriend want me anymore?" it's not about you. It never was. It's about him, and he's not your problem to solve. You are worthy of love, desire, and respect exactly as you are. Don't let anyone convince you otherwise, not even someone who claims to love you, especially not someone who claims to love you. You are enough. You have always been enough. Now go find someone who knows it.
And so, the story comes to an end, but the pain it carries is real and lasting. Behind his mask, there may be charm, but also lies, manipulation, and silence. If you've experienced something similar, please don't hesitate to share it in the comments below or send it to us directly. Your story matters. Your truth matters, and your voice might be the one that saves someone else from falling into the same trap. Together we break the silence. Together we unmask the lies. And together we rise stronger,